Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Tuesday, the 23rd day of the month of May, 2023, Tuesday of the 7th week of Easter. It is the 45th day of the Easter season. Coming to you from the one of our cloister walks around our courtyard here at the Franciscan School. We have just completed morning prayer, the final morning prayer for our 8th grade, who will be graduating tomorrow. So the class of 2023 moves from the great halls of the Franciscan School into high school in the next couple of months. And so honoring them, we're beginning to honor them today, and tomorrow we move into this great farewell to them and recognition of their work and of their gifts and of the wisdom that they have brought to this school, as well as the wisdom they have gained from their teachers and from the faculty and staff here at the Franciscan School. So on this seventh on Tuesday, the 7th week of Easter, Paul gives an interesting kind of defense, I think it is, about his work that he has done. He is in Ephesus. He gathers the elders from Ephesus to him, and he basically says that this is what I have done. I've preached the word, and I have led you to understand God in a different way, and I have given you a different way of perceiving yourselves and the world and everything else like that. And I have done it all as God has commanded me to do. I have done it in faithfulness. I have done it all kinds of things, like in all kinds of ways that have hopefully profited you. And then he kind of concludes it, So he does say, before he goes to Rome because he goes to Jerusalem first, where he is put on trial, and then they take him to Rome because he's a Roman citizen for trial again, and that's where and how he will be martyred. But as he's going to go now to Jerusalem to face trial for all of his, for the things that he's been doing that have been bothering Judaism, and then Judaism is now taking it to Rome and things like that, he basically ends, this kind of great defense by saying, I'm not responsible for the blood of any of you. So it's a very interesting kind of take on this, so it's either, take it or leave it is kind of what Paul is saying. No one can be forced to believe. No one can be forced to have faith. No one can be forced to obey rules and regulations. Nobody can be forced to be a perfect anything. And that is very true. And where it seems as though that Paul is kind of being sardonic in some ways about, what he has done and the people whom he has established relationships with, he is really saying a truth, is that, again, faith is our decision. It is our decision to believe in this great gift that God has given to us and to try to remain faithful in that belief, even when things are difficult or it seems ridiculous or stupid or whatever it is, to continue to be faithful, to realize that even when it doesn't make any sense at all, there may be, some reasonability to it. And there is a God who continues to guide and continues to walk and continues to nurture us through all of the times that we experience in life, both good and challenging, both filled with wonder and awe and filled with sadness and tragedy. There's a God who leads us out of all of this. And although Paul, again, we do have responsibility to each other in a way, and Paul is trying to excuse himself from anyone who will experience oppression and maybe even death because of what it is that he's preaching. There is this sense in which we are there to help each other, but we cannot make each other believe. It has to become something that we ourselves recognize, which is a very important point, again, in this Easter season. Faith is given as a gift, not as a set of rules and regulations, not as some obligations, not as a forced command of how to be in this world, but a way of looking and being in this world that is given to us freely, and for us freely to receive or freely to reject. And there's always the hope that we do receive it, embrace it, and let it become a part of our life. So the hope and the goodness and the wonder and the beauty of what having faith means to us in this world may be lived through our own lives in ways that enrich other people's lives. In the same way, again, Jesus is coming to the end of his Last Supper discourse, his Last Supper speech that he gives in John's Gospel, like I said yesterday. And again, he asks for God to glorify him. And again, what does it mean to get glory? It doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is going to praise and thank you when it comes to God. It doesn't mean everybody's going to praise and wonder about you and things like that. Basically, glory comes, from being, again, faithful. Glory comes from trust. Glory comes from knowing that, again, God knows what God is doing. And out of that knowledge, God enriches life, and God causes life to become more than we could have ever expected to become. Again, which is why when Jesus rises from the dead, again, there's also a sense of wonder, in that he possesses because of that trust that he has in God. He does speak at the end of this that he is leaving this world and he is going back to the Father, although, again, there are appearances after he dies and rises. And so, and he does walk around a little bit more, but the idea is always that we are left continuing the mission, that it is our responsibility, and not the responsibility of priests and nuns or bishops and popes and things like that. It's the responsibility of everybody who believes to continue carrying the mission, to continue being faithful, to continue recognizing the signs of the reign of God in our midst, to continue believing that love and forgiveness and mercy and hope and healing and respect and giving and love are really true things that can help this world become what it is meant to become. It is not about, hiding, behind rules and regulations. It's not hiding in churches. It's not hiding behind devotions. It is about living our life, and again, living it to its fullest as Jesus wants us to live it. A full life that understands that the work of God is ever in our midst, that the work of God is within us, and that we are called to manifest and to witness to that work in all that we say and do. A continued blessed Easter season, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.